The real party is going on in the front room, so. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Unity in Naperville. I'm Kitty Benson, the minister here at Unity, and we have parties here in the sanctuary. We've got parties in the front room. It's just, they're having way too much fun out there. Come on in, where the table is spread. Oh, that's a good song. And the feast of the Lord is going on. Yeah, we'll sing that. We'll sing that soon, in the near future, I promise. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for making time here in the room, everyone online. Who knows what day or time or place you are in, but grateful that you're giving your energy to this spiritual community, because we feel your love wherever you are. And I'm grateful to be here just to feel your energy and to talk about some really good stuff, and hopefully you will feel uplifted. I always trust that if you're checking in here at a Unity service, it's because your higher self called you here and there's a good reason for it. So I know something good is coming at you today. Thank you for making time. We have got a guest musician here today, Enoch Kim. Let's give him a warm welcome. We love Enoch, glad to have him back in the house. And we're sending our love out to Kim Shar as she continues to be an expression of her divine light. And we're looking forward today to just awakening to that prosperous universe all around us that is seeking to express through our lives as well. So let's start with music. That's a great way to feel prosperity moving through our energy. And one of the songs, what are we singing first, you guys? One Love. So if you want to stand up and sing, that'd be great, or stay seated, whatever feels best to you. Let's sing. Thanks, everybody. Woo.
Together and feel alright. Everybody, one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Everybody, one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. People get ready, there's a train coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. Don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. People get ready, there's a train coming. Don't need your ticket, get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. Don't need no tickets, and just thank the Lord. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Let's get together.
morning.
You're going to see me very gracefully switch from guitar to bass and drop a few things. So, yeah, that's right. Thank you. I love this next song because it's a recipe for a perfect day. If we say good words and think good thoughts and do good deeds. I'm getting a little bit of... Oh, much better, yes. All right, ready. 1, 2, 3.
Good words, good thoughts, good deeds. 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 These are the things, these things we need. From the time you rise to the time you sleep, every step you make, every breath you receive, do these. Everyone you pass on every street, every eye you meet, every friend you keep, do these. Good words, good thoughts, good deeds. 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 These are the things, these things we need. If you look back at the world from space, all you see is one human race. Do these. If you stand in the shoes of another, you'll find that these three things will set you free. You free. You free. Let's put our hands together. Good words, good thoughts, good deeds. 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 These are the things, these things we need. These are the things, these are the things, these things we need.
Who knew that our shy little tech guy had all this fun stuff in him? We're glad to have you here, Enoch. All righty. So let's just take that joy and center our consciousness in it in our heart. Just feel that openness in the space that is our presence, our power, our life, our joy, our freedom, our creativity, all that God is at the center of our being, and our hearts are open to that today, in every moment, to be an expression of that light in the world with good words, good thoughts, and good deeds, and so it is. Amen. Will you help me speak our invocation? The words are up here on the screen. Together? There's only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And so it is. You may be seated.
As we all continue, and as I continue to just dig through layers and layers of myself to get happier and serve better, this song always comes to mind. Let's raise the veil.
Raising the veil,
no separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil, and I want to know you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to see you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to hear you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to feel you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. And I want to praise you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. And I want to love you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil.
God is right here.
God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil.
Thanks, everybody. Just checking to see how you're doing. Everybody doing okay out there? I'm actually looking for Steve. Is Steve out there? Okay, just wanted to be sure. You'll understand why when I call him up later. Just here to freak us out a little bit. So we're in the football season. Whoopee. Okay, you football lovers. Any Bears fans in the room? Hey, and we are equal opportunity here. Any Packers fans in the room? Thank you. Thank you for your brave, whatever you call that. Yes. We actually have I was going to say the weirdest thing planned, but some people think it's going to be the funnest thing planned ever for our Christmas party that involves football. So just stay tuned for early December. We'll tell you more about that. And, there was a time where I was married to a football fan when I lived in San Francisco, so we were 49ers every Sunday afternoon. And that was kind of my first time, I think, where I noticed a football player wearing one of these. Let's take a look. What is that? Easy breathe, breathe strip, nasal strip, nose right. Evidently, there's several names for these things. I happen to have one here today. It's not very big. You peel off the adhesive on the back and you put it on your nose. But why? Why especially would why would a player need one of those on his nose? Better breathing. I guess, when you're working that hard, it's hard to, stay focused when I have Steve looking at me. So I'm going to do my best. But we wear these strips. They wear, not I, but there are athletes who will wear those strips because they need to get the air circulating as easily as possible through their body so they have plenty of energy to do what it is that they're going to do, right? And congestion can really ruin that for us. I wanted to share something with Florence Scovel-Shinn, who talks about this. She wasn't aware of Breathe Right strips because this was in the early 1900s, but she said, all sickness is due to congestion and all healing is due to circulation. All healing is due to circulation. Now, you might be wondering why we're talking about healing when I'm in the middle of a prosperity series, but think of it metaphorically as sickness can show up not just in our body, but in our relationships, in our mind, in our finances, and all kinds of ways in our experience. And so, in order to heal any part of our life, we have to remove congestion and implement circulation. And you and I are free to prosper in any one of those areas of our life, body, mind, spirit, finances, you name it. We're free to prosper as long as we understand how that prosperity works. It has something to do with spiritual circulation. And Charles Fillmore is our co-founder of Unity. He describes spiritual circulation up here as the inner stream of life, substance, and intelligence flowing freely through the entire being. You are one of those beings, and if you're circulating correctly according to spiritual law, then you are experiencing the fullness of God's life, which is that animating force in the body, that renewal force, that substance that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, which is spiritual energy, which we then form into our daily bread, and also intelligence, which is basically guiding every step that we take. So what can we do today? We're going to talk about how to clean out the congestion. And before you leave today, see, this is the benefit of coming into the building on Sundays, is that I'm going to give you your own Breathe Right strip before you leave, because I want it to remind you of circulation and that it's possible for us to have it. So we're going to talk a little bit about the strongest form of congestion. Most of us know it as negative emotional energy. We all can feel it in the body as a form of congestion. It does not feel good. And it usually shows up because of some thought that we've held in mind that doesn't line up with spiritual truth. And when we get that experience of emotional congestion, it inhibits the circulation of God's good in our life. And it creates a life experience that feels like a struggle from the moment you get up in the morning until you go to bed at night. There is a scripture in the book of Genesis where it's early on, chapter 3, where God has just created mankind and he put him in the garden. And then Adam and Eve did something they weren't supposed to do. What did they do? They ate an apple, but they ate an apple from a specific, we don't know what it was, All right, if we're going to go that deep, it didn't really happen. But think of this as a metaphor. Don't write me letters. I don't want to hear about it. I'll get to this in just a minute, all right? So actually what they did is they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That was what that tree was called, really long name. Don't eat from this tree. Everything else, have at it. So now God discovers that they did exactly what he told them not to. So from chapter 3, God says to Adam, because you ate fruit from the tree, about which I commanded you must not eat from it, cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil, you will eat food from it all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken. So for dust you are, and to dust you will return. That sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Cast out of the garden into this realm of struggle, basically, pain, agony, despair, lack, limitation. So let me remind you of how we interpret the scripture. One of the ways that we interpret scripture is metaphysically, which means beyond the literal words. What is the story happening within me? And the way that I see this particular passage, and the beauty of this is you can all interpret it any way that you desire, but the way that it works for me is that the part of the story where we're in the garden is that part of ourself as spiritual beings still in the spiritual dimension. We haven't come to earth yet. We're one with God. We know we're one with God. Everything is good. We're in the land of bliss. And then we choose to come here. We choose to eat that apple and come here into this physical dimension and enter into these physical bodies where this veil of consciousness and the ego and the brain all start working against us. And basically, it's like that congestion that keeps us from remembering the truth of who we are. And then we're in this dimension where everything is physical and it appears to be limited sometimes. And over here we see good, and over here we see bad. And ultimately we decide, okay, the bad must be evil, maybe Satan, maybe a devil. Over here is good, that must come from God. And now we start living from this consciousness of not enough and watch out for the bad guy. We live in a consciousness that is completely dependent on what we can see and touch and taste with our senses and believe that that's the truth of our being. So that starts to infiltrate our consciousness where our good stops circulating and our limits start showing up. We need to slap a Breathe Right strip onto. I'm not trying to be a commercial for just that brand, just so you know. That's what I first knew them as, so that's the way it's going to come out of mine. So really it is Breathe Right. It's about circulating correctly, right? So we're going to talk about some beliefs that we have established because of joining in with this physical body, this human mind, and how we've gotten confused. Let's look at some of those confusions, those congestions in our mind, and how we can clear them up and breathe correctly and allow God's good to circulate in our life, okay? One of them is this belief that you got to get it as soon as you see it before somebody else takes your good from you. So that's why on the day after Thanksgiving, there's people standing outside at 3 a.m. in freezing cold waiting for the store doors to open so you can dash in, knock everyone over, and get the last one! I got it! Sorry, that was a little loud. Yeah. And then you get it home and you find out you didn't really want it after all, right? Like just this week, I'm embarrassed to admit this, but it's me, so here I go. I got an email from this catalog store that sometimes I order clothes from. And it turns out that if I were to go to their website before 2 p.m. today, everything on the website is 50% off. Now that is a lot. And it turns out that they've combined with other catalogs. So it's not just theirs, it's this catalog, and that catalog, that catalog, that catalog. And so I could have all kinds of choices for 50% off. I mean, that just never happens. So I went to the website. And I shopped so long that I missed the 2 p.m. deadline. But wait! My cart was full, but I hadn't checked out by 2 p.m. But if you get it done by 3 p.m., they'll get you 45% off. I thought, okay, well, that's still a pretty good deal. So I'm still shopping. And all of a sudden I realized, I got to get out of here before 3 p.m. So I ended up spending way more money than I ever would have if I'd never seen that doggone email, but I just thought, this is like my only chance in the world to get good. And if I don't get my good before 3 p.m., I'll never get it again, right? That is living in the realm of outside the garden, okay? Now we're out where all the thorns are, and we believe that there's only so much to go around. Is this sounding familiar to anyone where you've done something stupid? And then you get it, and it doesn't fit or doesn't look good. You got to send, not only did I have to pay $25 for shipping, but chances are I have to pay $25 to send it back again, right? Really saved a lot on that. Okay, so secondly, one of our points of view that needs to be cleaned out with a breathe right strip of energy of circulation is when we feel like we're being cheated by someone. Anybody had that where somebody managed to take your good from you when you weren't looking, and you just get so angry about it and you want to get into a fight with them? So another one of my experiences, which I'm embarrassed to tell, but I will anyway, probably about 25 years ago, I got into business with a friend, which you're never supposed to do, right? And it was hard work, and it was hard to make any money at it, but I kept at it. And finally, one of my clients said, would you come to work for us? And I've got a job that you'll fit right into. And it was more money and something that I could depend on from week to week, that I said, sure. And I told my friend that I was leaving the company, and we'd had a third person involved, and they'd left the company, so I kind of knew how this worked because we'd all invested money, and I got to that point where I thought, okay, well, here's what I've invested, so here's what I expect, and I sent her that number, and she sent me 1/10 of it. And I was like, oh my God, that's so unfair. Why is this happening to me? And it was probably, I don't know, part of the reason was that I was moving to take this new job and moving into a new place and leaving a place where I was living with other people, and they had all the furniture, and now I was moving into a place with no furniture except for a bed, and I was desperate for this money, but she wouldn't even answer the phone when I called. Well, it just so happens one of my clients was a collection agent and also had become a good friend of mine, and I was telling him my story, and he said, well, if you want, I'll write her a letter. I said, okay. So he wrote her a collection letter, no response. Wrote her a second one, no response. Wrote her a third one, no response. Started calling her, no response. He said, well, okay, we're at the place now where we take her to court. You ready to do that? And I went, hold on. And I had to breathe. And I breathed until I could get clear on what I wanted to do. And the clarity that felt right to me was to let it go. I just felt sick about like seeing this woman in court. She'd been a bridesmaid in my wedding. Like, I can't do that. Yeah. So I let it go. And I just kept having to work at it to let it go, let it go, let it go. And I finally got to this place where, you know what, I'm at peace about this. And right after that, my new boss gave me a promotion and a huge raise. Yeah. So up here on the screen, Alan Cohen says, what goes around comes around. Life has a way of settling accounts. We're playing on a field much larger than we recognize. In the long run, it doesn't matter how accounts are settled. Just trust that everything will be taken care of. If your good is being taken from you, there are going to be moments where we need to take action. Sometimes maybe we do have to go to court. But first, get real clear guidance in your heart that that's the right thing to do. And secondly, it needs to be an action that you take not from desperation, not from anger, not from revenge. Because if that's the case, that energy is basically the strongest form of congestion you can introduce into this problem. So we have to be able to do it from a place of trust and relaxation and allowing and remembering our source of good. That even if this court process doesn't work out, my source of good is infinite and nothing can stand in the way of it, except for me and the congestion that I insinuate into this situation. So who are you going to be in the process if you are required to take action? If you really want it to work out where you are free to prosper, then it has to come from that energy of allowing and accepting and trusting in your true and one source of good. Because at some point, when you're at that frequency of energy in your heart, your good will continue to find its way to you. Is this making sense? So sometimes part of our circulation or our congestion problem is that we are creating the problem in our own self. We are the withholder one way or the other. Sometimes if we find ourselves lacking in one little area, we just shut down completely. We just pull in, we hoard, we keep all of our good to ourselves. We don't want to have anybody out there testing us and trying to take it from us. And as usual, the ego is doing what it does best, serving the self alone. That's what the ego's job is. So if we want to experience the fullness of what God has for us, we have to put that self in the back seat. There's another Old Testament scripture that a lot of ministers use to explain tithing. And this is how they help you understand that you are required, according to the Bible, to give 10% of your income to the church. Anybody ever heard that story? So here's a scripture that they take it from. It's Malachi 3:10. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it. Now that's all true when it comes to recognizing your source of good and becoming one with that source of good. And I just have trouble imagining a being on a throne with a calculator, paying attention to your paycheck week to week and watching to see how much you give to the church. Is it 10%? Let me just say this. I've done that. I've given 10%. I give 10% in all kinds of ways. I try and give my income out to the point where it's like a little bit of a stretch for me, because it reminds me to turn back to my source of good and trust more in that than whatever my paycheck says. And if you can get to that level of consciousness, it works well for you. But if you're giving it out of a grudging obligation of some kind, you might as well not give it all. And I'll talk about that more in a little bit. But our freedom to prosper really has to come from bringing the whole tithe, which means bringing your whole being into your givingness, which means think of who you really are. Set the body aside. That it really will be dust to the ground. But the real you that is eternal is God expressing in infinite ways. Bring that whole beingness of you into life and circulate it. Get it out there where people can experience it, because that's why we have these divine qualities, is to circulate our goodness out into the world to not only benefit us, but to benefit everyone around us. Now, your ego will challenge you on this, because it knows what your checking account balance is. It knows how many friends you have. It knows how safe your job is, and it will always err on the side of not enough. So we have to train the ego to give fully and freely, not just with your finances, but just name a few ways that you can give fully and freely of yourself into the world. How would you demonstrate that? Your time, service, coaching soccer, your money, time. Okay, let's look up on the screen. I got a few more for you. Yes, your time to be present for someone, give your attention. You can also support people with your love and your compassion. You can give of yourself by forgiving, by accepting and allowing. You can give of yourself by using your talents. You can give of yourself by using your resources or your positive attitude or your energy, your appreciation for others, your praise of others. All of these are divine qualities that can be circulated out into the world. And just reading these words feels good. So imagine how a recipient of this kind of behavior would feel to others as they receive it. When you are experiencing some kind of congestion in your prosperity, ask yourself, how can I circulate? Steve, would you come up here for a minute? This is our big moment where I'll just stand over here.
Good morning.
I asked Steve to share a little story, because he shared one with me, and I just went, wow, that just fits in today as a perfect example of what it means to circulate. You want to share your story?
Sure. So when my spiritual teacher and my friend, Reverend Kitty, asked me to speak today, I said, I've got a Halloween party. It's going to go into the wee hours of the night. I might have my costume on. So I decided to come in and wear it, but I'm Slash, by the way. I get to wear my rock star shirt.
Oh my gosh.
So
Okay, that's a little better. The handcuffs are scary, but we'll ignore those. There we go. Yay. Thank you.
So we have those moments where we think, Reverend Kitty's speaking to me today, or I'm right where I'm supposed to be today. And I tell the story often to people around here of one of those moments that I had here at Unity. And it was on a Sunday service. It was 5 years ago. I remember it. I had just started a new business, a restaurant, and it was struggling a little bit. And it came to that time in the service where, Kitty says we're going to offer our tithes and our love offerings. And she explained that, we should give when it feels right, and look to your heart. And if what you've experienced here at Unity and in this community with these people, if it's helped you and you look to your heart and it feels right, then maybe you want to give back now. It's time. And I was thinking about that, and she's like, but don't. If you're not ready, please. It's not time for you. I thought about that. I looked to my heart. Then I looked in my pocket. I had $24. Times were a little tough. I thought, I need to hang on to that $24. And then I thought about what Reverend Kitty said, and I looked to my heart, and I thought, you know what? It's time. I gave the whole $24, put it in the basket when it came around, and that week, one thing after another just kept falling into place. The other small businesses that I had, all of a sudden I'm getting calls for troubleshooting, and I'm getting commissions for putting people together and finder's fees that week. It was amazing. I made $2,000 that week in commissions. And I was like, that was my moment. It really, my confidence just was boosted, and I thought, yes, we need to let it flow. I need to let it flow. And that was a springboard for my spiritual advancement, for my growth. And from then on, I've just been giving and getting, and the flow that Kitty talks about, when you let it go, know there's enough, and really feel that and have grace with that, it flows right back around. And so after that, I've been manifesting ever since. And people ask me, well, Steve, how? You often talk about, well, Spirit help me with this choice, and Spirit help me with that choice. And well, they ask me, how do you know when it's Spirit and not your ego? And it's pretty simple. Esther Hicks, who Kitty quotes quite a bit, said when it came to that same question that, when it simply feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you know. So,
oh, wow.
So thank you for letting me share my story and my goofy costume. And thank you, Kitty.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. You're not as scary now. So what a beautiful example of what the energy of love will do. I mentioned, please don't give when there is a sense of fear or anything less than at least hope in your energy, in your emotions, because that's a sign that you don't have the faith to make this gift work. It will just be another way. As a matter of fact, up here on the screen, Charles Fillmore is our co-founder of Unity. He said, giving with the fear of lack leads to poverty. Just take that in for a minute. You can give and give and give, but if every time you give, it feels uncomfortable because you're not sure you're going to get it back, then don't give, because you probably won't get it back. You're just basically working with divine law that as you give, so you receive in positive and negative ways. So just notice if there is an energy of fear, a fear of lack as a form of congestion, it will be getting in the way of circulation. Where are you at energetically when it comes to it? We have to take fear out of the equation, because basically what we're doing is living this error thought that I live outside the garden. I would say I'll just say it anyway because it's me. You are living in the Garden of Eden right now. Anybody online agree with that? You are living in the Garden of Eden right now. What is the Garden of Eden? It's the presence of all good. It's the omnipresence of God. It's the realm of spirit. It's the realm of divine ideas. It's the realm of infinite substance and life and love. And if God is everywhere present, then the garden must be everywhere present. We just think we're living outside of it. So part of our work here is paying attention to what thought is coming through me right now that feels congested that I need to rewrite. I need to re-educate. There's a few other ways that congestion happens in our life when it comes to prosperity. One of them is, how many of you, well, I told you my story about being in relationship in a business, but have you ever tried to get any kind of project done with somebody else? Yes. Have you ever been in that situation where the somebody else is just like not all that into it? That they're kind of sucking the life out of the project whenever they show up. They're not even really present for it except for their body. Yeah, that's one of the ways that we congest our prosperity. And so we have to just check in with our partners and see, is this really the person that I'm meant to be with in order to create this experience together? Or you might want to check in with yourself and find out, have you committed to a project that your heart is unwilling to be in? And you keep showing up, but you're sucking the life out of it. It just doesn't feel good to you. It feels like something that doesn't belong to you. Remember that when you are in the mode of circulation, you have to both inhale and exhale. And the exhaling might be taking a look at what your beliefs are that need to be released about this project, or maybe just find yourself a whole nother project and step away from this one. Don't be the reason for congestion in your own prosperity. Keep checking in with how you feel about what it is that you're working on. And we're always free to prosper, but not if we depend on this material world as our source of good. So every time you keep looking at the paycheck or the stock market or your Social Security or whatever form of income, you are throwing in congestion and inhibiting circulation because you're looking in the wrong direction. We have one source of good that's infinite. So when we think about that, if we can dwell here on planet Earth as a spiritual being, having a human experience, our spiritual nature wants to express the divine qualities that dwell within us. That is our greatest form of prosperity. And we think that prosperity looks material, but let me just throw a few of these up here on the screen for you. First of all, our goal is not to have this buff body that everybody can admire. Our goal is to experience divine life. As a spiritual being, we know what that is. Now we want to express it through the body, our health and well-being, but focused first on the spiritual energy of life. Our goal up here on the screen, can you pop these up for us, Susan? Our goal is not about relationship, like having the perfect mate that we're so proud of and we can share with everyone else. Our goal is to experience love, divine love. And whether that shows up in a personal relationship or it just shows up in your own heart, that is the highest goal that we're seeking to know. And that's what prosperity is in life. We think that money is our goal, but it's actually the freedom that you experience when you have money. Is it possible we can experience freedom even without a pile of money in our bank account? Your spirit says yes. And our goal isn't about having all the time in the world just to lay back on a chaise lounge and eat bonbons. Our goal is about finding peace in every moment, no matter whether it's busy or standing still. Our goal is not about finding a guru to enlighten us and give us all the answers to life. Our goal is to be in touch with the divine ideas and wisdom within our own consciousness. And our goal is not about, saying, I finally found my purpose in life and it's going to make a huge difference in the world and I'm going to be so well known. No, our goal is simply just to experience fulfillment, the fulfillment of life itself. It doesn't matter what you're doing, it matters how you're being. These ideas on the right-hand side, that is prosperity. Just take those in for a minute. Because every single one of those, we are free to experience right now. Right now. Circulating or congesting? Where are we? Where do we need to put that breathe right strip? Ernest Holmes, who's the founder of Science of Mind, said that the only reason for having is that we may give. What good is it to just have it and hoard it and do nothing with it, but to give it out in all those divine qualities? And I'll finish with this quote from Myrtle Fillmore, who's our other co-founder of Unity and a sweetheart. The only way to become permanently prosperous and successful is through quickening, awakening, and bringing into righteous use all the indwelling resources of spirit. When we develop our soul and express its talents and capabilities in loving service to God and humankind, our temporal needs will be supplied in bountiful measure. Which is what I think Jesus was saying. Seek first the kingdom, and all these things will be added to you. So what does her quote say again? What is it that we must do in order to experience permanent prosperity and success? Develop our soul and express its talents and capabilities, both as an expression of God and as a gift to the world around us. May feel like a high goal to reach for, but the good news is you already have it all within you. It's just about knowing it and releasing it through circulation. Where can I give? Where can I give? How can I give? How can I give? That should be our little mantra going on in the back of our mind all day long. How about if we take some time in the quiet and meditate on these ideas of who we already are, how we want to be an example of prosperity in our life. Let's just allow our body to relax. Oftentimes, it's the first form of congestion we feel when we try to meditate. So we'll start by addressing any tension, anything that wants attention. Let's just scan our body and look for those places. And imagine divine light circulating freely through those areas. Divine light and life. Let your breath be a carrier of that divine light. Imagine divine light streaming through your entire body now, circulating freely, cleansing and clearing, calming and soothing, balancing and strengthening, renewing and refreshing. Divine life circulates freely through my being. We take a moment to think of our loved ones in our life. Maybe our family, our spouse, maybe people we appreciate out in the world, who we work with or admire their work. And we take a moment to simply desire good for them. We circulate our love by accepting them for who they are and desiring good for them. As we think of our material prosperity that we name money, We may even know the number of the exact amount that we have. We set that aside and instead allow our mind to imagine the freedom that we might experience as we allow divine substance to circulate through our life. That spiritual energy that is infinite, unbounded, ready to be formed into our everyday needs. Just imagine what that freedom of life feels like as you put your faith in divine substance. If you feel congested because you don't have enough time, your list is so long, you'll never get it all done. We set that aside and move back into the garden where there is perfect peace in every moment. Allow yourself to feel that peace right now, where there is no time. There are no limits, no threats. There's only God and good. I allow peace to circulate through my being. Maybe you've been struggling to solve a problem. Find a new idea. But the struggle is congestion to your prosperity. So we set aside that struggle. We open our minds and our hearts to the one mind, the omniscience of God. My mind dwells in the mind of God. I know all that I need to know as I need it. I allow intelligence and wisdom to circulate in my consciousness, given freely through this one mind that I share with God. As I ask, it is given. I breathe deeply in this moment. And remember, I am free to prosper as I circulate God's good through my being. I breathe deeply again. And feel the freedom of circulation drawing through me all that I need in this moment. Life and love, peace and wisdom, infinite supply. for I am free to prosper. This is the truth of my being. And now I let it be. Amen. If you missed any of the weeks of this message series, it started 2 weeks ago, so that would be, what's our date today? The 30th, the 23rd, the 16th, is that right? So go back to our website, unityinnaperville.org, for all the past messages, and just take a listen, because each one of the weeks had an important piece to the puzzle, so you can truly know what it means to say, I am free to prosper. And as usual, we give you an opportunity to demonstrate your faith in this. And I'll just repeat, as I've said before, if today is a day where giving feels uncomfortable for you, then please don't. We want this to be a benefit not only to your spiritual community and all that we give out to the world, but we also want it to be a benefit to you that you may also receive. And there's lots of ways to give. We have a place online to do that on Facebook. There's a place to donate. Just click the donate button on our Facebook page. There's also on our website, unityinnaperville.org. Or if you'd like to mail a check, you can send that to our P.O. Box 9733 in Naperville, and the zip is 60567. We're grateful for any method or amount that you choose to share with us, to circulate, in order for us all to experience the good of this community, and we're grateful for your open and loving heart. Normally, we say an offering blessing at this point that we probably all know by heart, but I thought since we kind of shifted things up a little bit, we could try this new one on just for a minute. Let's take a look here. Had to throw in the Halloween costumes. Obviously, these trick-or-treaters are prepared to receive, right? They give us joy. They're prepared to receive some joy themselves. Let's say these words together. God is my unfailing source. I freely give this gift, knowing I can never deplete God. I am free to prosper, grateful that as I give, I gladly receive. Ushers, will you come, please?
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Good morning. Happy Halloween. I'm Beth, and I'm here to share the announcements with you today. So if you're here for the first time, welcome, or online, welcome. We're glad you're here. If you want to learn more about what's happening at Unity, sign up for our weekly e-news or for Kitty's twice-monthly New Thoughts email by going to our homepage at unityinnaperville.org or email admin@unityinnaperville.org. Our Board of Trustees are available after the service if you have questions. Will the board of members please stand? And now for what's happening at Unity. Calling all singers. We're looking for volunteers to help Kevin lead our Sunday music during the month of December, and or to join our special Christmas choir, which will perform on Christmas Eve and Christmas morning. Rehearsals start in November. To sign up or get more information, email revkitty@unityinnaperville.org or sign up in the front room. If you were born in November, let us help celebrate your birthday. Please forward a photo of yourself with your name and birthday by Thursday. And we will, we'll sing to you the next Sunday. Email your photo and information to admin@unityinnaperville.org. Daylight savings time ends next Saturday. Remember to set your clocks back 1 hour next week. We've added a new section to the e-news. Let your Unity community know about services you have to offer, things to sell, services you need to engage, etc. in our new community bulletin board. Read about it in Tuesday's e-news. For details or access to the following events, go to the event calendar at unityinnaperville.org. Monday morning metaphysics meets tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning. Courageous Writers, this says courageous. It's Courageous Writers meets online Saturday at 10 a.m. Are you considering making Unity in Naperville your spiritual home? Or are you curious and would you like more information about Unity? Join Rev Kitty's on-site membership class Sunday, November 6th from noon to 3 p.m. Please sign up in the front room or email revkitty@unityinnaperville.org to attend. Save the dates for Yes, You Can Paint workshop on Friday, November 18th. And Summer Osborne will be here in concert Sunday, November 20th. Can't wait. Tickets go on sale today in the front room or online at unityinnaperville.org. Prayer chaplains are available to pray with you by phone after the service. Email your phone and your name and phone number to prayer@unityinnaperville.org, and a prayer chaplain will call you today by 1 p.m. For details on all of our events, go to unityinnaperville.org. For questions, email admin@unityinnaperville.org. And now Rev Kitty has an announcement.
Thanks, Beth. And just confirming, Sharon, are you available today? Yes? Okay, great. So we are back to having a prayer chaplain in the house. So yes, if you would like one-on-one prayer, just meet her in the meditation room and be happy to support you in that way. And I wanted to remind you that the town hall meeting is coming up 2 weeks from today. We'll stay after the service for about 45 minutes for your board of trustees to share you kind of a mid-year update of where we are as a spiritual community. And we've got some important information to share with you that will require a membership vote at our annual meeting next spring, and it requires a lot of work on our part to get it prepared. So we're going to need your feedback on what that project is at this meeting in a couple of weeks. So please save the date. It's for everybody, whether you've become a member or not. And we'll have some hearty refreshments to keep you going till 12:45, 1 o'clock. No one will faint, I promise you. But we got lots of fun, good news to share with you as well. So hopefully we'll get to see you on that date. Thank you for that. And do we have one last song we're going to sing?
Yeah.
What is it?
God is my sword.
Oh, well, of course. Let's stand for that. Thank you.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I love it. Love is my source, love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for
for all my blessings. Love gives me everything. Joy,
Joy is my source.
joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything. God gives me everything. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Very fun. And Susan, can we have those lyrics up? Oh, why, look, they're already up. So this is another teaching moment. When we say that love is our source and joy is our source and God is our source, especially those love and joy ones, that literally means that as we give love, we create love in our own being. Whatever we give away, we're also receiving at the same time. That's why it's our source. And of course, if we give God in any of those divine qualities that we talked about today, we are not only expressing it out into the world, circulating it, but it will circle back around through us again. I know, I had my chance to do my talk already. So let's finish with our closing affirmation. I'll get out of the way. Let's say this together. Spirit gives abundantly, I receive easily, and give again generously. That is the truth of our being, so now we just let it be. Have a great week, everybody. Come out front for refreshments. Before you walk out of this room, would you please say hey to somebody that you haven't met yet? Introduce yourself, and then come get some goodies. And if you're watching online, throw something in the chat about today and what you learned that spoke to you, or just say hey to somebody new that you haven't met before. We want you to connect. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
Good words, good thoughts, good deeds. 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 These are the things, these things we need. From the time you rise to the time you sleep, every step you make, every breath you receive, do these. Everyone you pass on every street, every eye you meet, every friend you keep, do these. Good words, good thoughts, good deeds. 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 These are the things, these things we need. If you look back at the world from space, all you see is one human race. Do these. If you stand in the shoes of another, you'll find that these three things will set you free. You free. Good words, good thoughts, good deeds. 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 These are the things, these things we need. These are the things